What's happening? What's happening? YouTube land. Just get stuff. This summertime is crazy. Excuse my son in the background. He been bugging all day. And this daylight time, I get kind of used to it, man. It be still daylight and be like 8 o'clock already. Shout out to AQ. Henry's Kennels. Go check that brother out on YouTube. Check out the IB. Who I be. Is the audio good? Off this Saturday show. Just shoot the thumbs in the chat for anybody who's in here already. Maximally what's going on. Apologize. All right. Hope all is well in the Bulldog world. Vad Kennels, what's going on, my brother? Check him out on YouTube. Brother got some very beautiful looking Bulldog, man. Out here doing this thing. All right, I think I got everything situated. I'm trying to recover from July 4th weekend. It was kind of brutal. Was doing a lot on the yard trying to make it happen. Salute to SBO Kennels, man. What's going on, my brother? Appreciate you coming through, chilling with the Thompson man on this Saturday. Hope everybody is keeping their dogs cool. It's been triple digits down here, brother. Triple digits every day. 2 o'clock, it's about 103, 104. It's real. So everybody's keeping their hounds cool. Y'all got shade. Y'all doing everything y'all supposed to be doing. Making sure you're changing those waters. Making sure you got your dogs situated appropriately across the yard. Nobody's going to die of heat stroke. You went through, you checked those chains, made sure those chains that you had that would wrap up around that axle and prevent the dog from being able to get to the water bowl of shade. Hopefully you have been doing your due diligence to keep your dogs alive. I had to do some remodeling last weekend. I shot a little video up there on YouTube. I redid some kennels, made them more secure. I was just getting tired of having dogs fighting through the cage. It was becoming too aggravating. and then to have that kind of money tied up in the kennel setup and only be able to use, like I was having to skip a kennel. So if I put a dog in a kennel, I have to skip the next cage, put a dog in that kennel, skip the next cage, that type of thing. That's a waste of money and time. Daniel Brown, what's going on, brother? Daniel Brown, New Zealand. We got everybody checking in. It seems like everybody around the world. Let me check this thing out on YouTube and see how this thing is posting. I still don't have the best service. I've been trying to make some moves and stuff, but you make sacrifices when you move to the woods. You don't get that A1 service all the time. Samurai Kennels, what's going on? Yeah, check Samurai Kennels out, man. Brother did a good live, man. Very entertaining, man. Very entertaining. I've been enjoying catching some of these brothers' lives when I get off early from work and stuff, man. You know, once in a blue moon, I may get home about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I get a chance to politic and listen to some cook-ups and stuff. All is very entertaining, man. How to stop a dog from jumping up in your bed? Can you please give me? And how to stop the dog from barking? Can you give me? I'm good. I don't know, Daniel Brown. I don't do the too many dogs in the house like that, my brother. For barking and stuff, you could try using a e-collar. That seems to work with some of those dogs that just can't seem to goddamn control themselves. Martinez Game Dogs, what's going on in the building? Yeah, you can try e-collar, but I'm not the big dog in the house kind of guy. You know, if somebody's sick or injured or something, you know, they get the parlay in the crib, but just to be in my house like that, I don't really do too much of that. You know, to each his own. I ain't knocking nobody for what they do. But usually sick or injured dog or something like that I gotta have in the house. You know, that's usually how I do it. You know, I got all this property. I tell my kids, you know, go outside with the dogs. You don't need to be in my house with that shit. Soul Power, aka Gamed Up Kennels. What's going on? What's going on, my brother? Check him out. He's been doing lives too. I think I caught Martinez Game Dogs. Check his channel out. Brother's going through his dogs, trying to make something happen, man. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Just trying to make something happen. Trying to get some good dogs. Trying to select some good dogs. It's a never-ending battle out here in these streets. Or as we say in these woods, it's a never-ending battle. That's the overall goal. Put in your hard money, your time, your dedication, your love, and you're trying to pull out something good. Hopefully it's good enough to move forward with and better your program. Because isn't that the overall goal, people? We're trying to get good dogs, better dogs than what we started out with. Quick FC7. Can I get your opinion on ivermectin and how to dose it? You mentioned it in the last show. Yeah, ivermectin is a broad brand type of dewormer, but it's primarily used for heartworm prevention. It kills the adult worms so they can't continuously lay eggs and congest the dog. And, you know, you ever hear that cough? Heartworms burrow through the lungs. They tear a dog up, mostly through mosquito bites and stuff like that. You know, if you're using a horse dewormer, I've been already privileged that, you know, I'm not able to give out a whole bunch of dosages and stuff, but if you get the actual bottle of ivermectin, it'll have a pound. They sell, people use ivermectin in different ways. They sell like a bottle of it that's like penicillin. You can draw it back like a needle and just take the needle tip off and squirt it in the dog's mouth. Or we got some brothers that use the ivermectin horse dewormer, and that's kind of like you eyeballing it. You know, some people got it to a science. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to dose out horse dewormer. If you know how to do it, you know how to do it. If you don't, I ain't going to tell you that shit because depending on what line of dogs you have, ivermectin can be like a very serious dewormer, and you can fuck around and lay your dog out, especially if you give it to young puppies and not the correct dosage and stuff like that. You'll stretch them out real bad. So I'm not going to tell you that, but if you want an exact dosage, you can get the bottle, and it'll tell you the mLs per pound, and you can dose it out like that. But it's primarily used for heartworm prevention. Like I said, it kills the adult worms, and it doesn't prevent the eggs from hatching once those worms lay eggs, but it does kill the adult worms. So that means it can break the cycle if you're having a heartworm issue. But a lot of people who have dogs outside, if you keep up with your flea, not your flea, but your mosquito prevention, because a lot of that shit's transmitted through mosquito bites. And if you keep up with your fly spray and your mosquito spray on your dogs where they're not getting annihilated by mosquitoes, you can kind of duck a lot of the heartworm issues. But that's for that answer right there for the ivermectin. What's going on, Mr. Fred, PBC? I think you got your speaker on mute. Excuse my homie Fred. He ain't too tech savvy.
Okay,
You got.
I'm here.
You on point? On point.
I'm on point. Hello, everybody. Boy, I miss y'all.
Yeah, man. Shout out Samurai Kennel said, "What up, PBC?"
Yo. Hey,
Yeah.
I got a chance to hear a little bit of Samurai this week on the cook up. I wasn't able to get into I don't know how you, but man, I like the way some of the conversation you try to keep a cap on them, because hey, if you don't be careful, Samurai, them jokers will get loose from you, boy. They get loose on you. Hey, you got some kings on your cook-ups over there, man. And then you got about 4 or 5 of them. I don't know how you do it, man.
Boy, he going crew thick in there, brother. He going crew thick in there, bro. He bringing the whole team on the board. I enjoyed it, man. It was thoroughly entertaining.
Yeah.
But
I was listening to some of what you was cooking up just then on the Ivermectin. I was listening to you myself before I got on.
Yeah, man. I had a question about it. I've been trying to get into a little routine with these joints. When we started, people got a couple of questions. If I'm privileged to answer them, I try to answer them before y'all brothers get on here with me and stuff. So just a little cook up on that real quick. How was your 4th weekend, man? How everything went, man?
It was real nice, man. I had some family down, and all us got together and had a nice meal together. But it's just good to know that we got an opportunity just to sit around and enjoy each other's company like that, because it's kind of like rare now. I was telling my wife, when I was coming up on the 4th of July, everybody had to get in and pitch in and help clean up outside and clean the grills up, and everybody had a little bit of chores to do to help everybody get it together. Even the girls on the inside of the house helped prep the food and everything else. It wasn't a one person thing, but in this time now, my grandkids, they don't do nothing. I mean, it's just kind of like it's kind of like a one man thing now. And I told my wife I don't like 4th of July like I used to. I don't like the way it is now. Hey, I'm outside all day long. I'm trying to cook and clean and doing it all by myself. I said, This ain't no fun right here.
Nah,
This the
man, it becomes a lot of work,
this
man.
the new this the new 4th of July, I call it. And hey, if it's
Boy.
gonna be like that, I told my wife, I don't know, I might not sign up for it next year.
It's the truth, man. I ain't gonna lie. I told you I did that little birthday party for my son at the house and stuff, a little barbecue, get the water slide thing out, man. That shit. I was thinking it was gonna be at the crib, so it's gonna be a little bit less work than having to go drive and set up something at some building or some shit. Man, that was a lot of cleaning afterwards, man, and everybody go home, happy, twisted.
Man,
Yo, ass out here
after
cleaning up in the middle of the night, bro.
a- after they done got their belly full, they leave them plates right there for you to clean up, baby.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still trying to catch the motherfucker who was throwing chicken bones. Like I had garbages, bro. Like why are y'all throwing chicken bones and shit around? I was walking around the front of my pride. I was like, man, y'all can't take certain people no place in it.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Man,
Did did you get a shout out to the people in the chat yet?
yeah, I've been trying to roll through as we've been going, man. Vinny was in the build. Vinny's in the building. AQ Henry Kennels, Samurai Kennels, Martinez Game Dogs, Quick FC7, Soul Powered AK Up, Gamed Up Kennels in the building, man. We got
Salute,
the
salute,
usual.
salute, salute.
Vad Kennels in the building. Shout out to Vad again. Hernan Maximiliano. I be who I be, man. It's the usual suspects in the building, man. Usual suspects. But like I said, we can go ahead and start with this first cook up real quick. We've been trying to get a little organized with the lives, how we've been doing them. So we try to come up with some content. These ain't just specific topics. It's just open opinions, how you feel about certain stuff. Stuff that gets asked to us, stuff that gets approached. Shit. This is what it's for. We here to talk about it, throw some opinions out there in the atmosphere. Not more or less trying to ruffle feathers and stuff, but shit. It's an open platform. Voice your damn opinion on certain things. So I'm gonna start this cup off because we touched on a couple of episodes ago about the gentleman side of the sport, but we gotta flip the question now. Is it hard being a gentleman in this sport right now in the climate of things? Are you always motivated to put your best foot forward and try to stay positive with certain individuals? You know what I mean? Is it worth that? Or is it just like, the game is kind of resorted to what it's resorted to because of the level of disrespect and things that go on. You know what I mean? So, I mean, open forum. Open up your opinions, Fred, on this gentleman thing. This is partly your cook up. Hey, Fred. I had somebody hit my line real quick.
Just to be, but even
I had somebody hit my line real quick.
you know, even
I think I lost Fred on here. Fred was going in and out on me. Hey Fred, my bad. I think I lost you, my brother. Um, yeah, he bounced back in. I think I lost Fred on here. Fred was going in and out on me. Hey Fred, my bad. I think I lost you, my brother. Um, yeah, he bounced back in.
How about now? Hello?
Yeah, you sound clear, my brother. Go ahead and cook up. I think you was
Yeah.
going in and out a little bit on me, man. Start off where you was cooking up at, man. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but the screen went white. It was like it was a
Oh,
white
that was
screen.
your phone, maybe. Yeah, I had a phone call come through. But I'll be happy to blame it on you. But go ahead with your cook up, man. With the gentleman.
Yeah, I was saying, I had an opportunity to listen to Samurai earlier in the week, and I just like the way he handled his business whenever he be on his live and his cook-ups and stuff. And not only him, but 78 and those guys. And, before I started listening to those, I used to listen to Garcia, and he used to be at home in a room by himself, and he used to have so much content, and I would go by one, listen to different things Garcia was bringing to the table. But the thing is,
Mm.
man, you know, I look at like I was introduced to Garcia through Ronald Bowles. Ronald Bowles introduced me to Garcia, and that's how I got to uh, get on his Facebook page thing. But it just it seemed like the gentleman part of it, the good guys hang out with other good guys, and when it comes to the dogs, you want less drama as you can, you know, put up with, because the dogs themselves, and taking care of the dogs and doing what you got to do for the dogs, and to have a family and the work and do everything else that we do, it's going to be stressful enough. You know what I mean? So I look at it like the people that I surround myself with, which is going to be another cook up later on in the conversation. Whenever we surround ourselves with certain people, not saying that we're in a fraternity because you surround yourself with certain people, but you want to be around people of equal uh, goals and aspirations that you have. Uh, I look at it like I'm gonna hang around with guys that's gonna help me get to my next level. I mean, if you're not hanging around somebody that's gonna push you to do better, I mean, what's the reason of hanging out with them? And that's the gentleman part of it to me. That we gotta stand up and be counted as far as what we're gonna allow. You're gonna allow people get around you that just speak their mind, and have what they speaking ain't the truth, and you don't want to tell them that, hey, you don't agree with them, because if you agree with everything they say, and then and what they saying ain't true, they're gonna lead you down the wrong path. And I've seen that so many times, because you got some guys now, they standing on their square, but they square ain't got no foundation to it. And I believe that's a big part of being the that's a big part of being the gentleman thing, because a lot of times somebody can say something to you, and you already in a defense mode, already in a defense mode, and you haven't listened to the whole conversation yet. Have you ever talked to somebody and you trying to explain something to them, and they already then cut you off and not listening
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
conversation? So that's why I say that. You got to be able to have an open ear of understanding, to kind of like see the other side of the coins, because sometimes it's two sides to a story. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got these guys nowadays, they just listening to one side of it, and that's the only side they're gonna go by, because you got the old timers and the way the old timers used to do, you know. And if you look at the way the old timers used to do, they had a little bit more free reign to do about anything they wanted to do without any repercussions. But nowadays, you got to think about, we don't have no free reign to do whatever we want to do. You can get on these cook-ups like me and you're doing tonight. Uh, this is on YouTube. This going out to the world. This not just uh, you know me and Thompson on a telephone talking to each other. Uh, it's got to have a little bit more substance to that than just talking to somebody on a live and saying anything you want to say, how you want to say it. Uh, you should have a little bit more uh, respect about yourself when you're talking on these lives. You got to really think about who you reaching when you're talking on these lives. You're reaching so many people, and your words have so much power to them, and it affects so many people, especially in the dog world. So if you do put any kind of content out, let it be some content that's worth listening to. Because if you don't, it's just going to be a bunch of, you know, everybody can have a darn cook up. I mean, just like
Yeah.
these American Pit Bull Terriers nowadays, everybody can own an American Pit Bull Terrier. But, I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and he said a lot of these dogs that we have, they end up in the wrong hands, and when they do, it's over with.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. This is a heavy. It's a heavy conversation when you get into the gentleman aspect of it and trying to historical, present day. It's a lot that goes into this. It's a heavy conversation on the level of it go to the extent where we hurting the dogs. You know what I mean? It's I've been telling y'all for years and years and years and years how long Thompson has been around over a damn decade on YouTube. Before YouTube, just in the streets. You know what it is. It's becoming harder and harder to have that kind of free reign with these dogs and do what you want to do, how you want to do it. They make the laws hard. They use anything and anything against us in court, and it flies a lot of the time in court. You know what I mean? Some of the content that we putting out, are we always putting these dogs in a positive light for them to be accepted in the present day and continue on to be America's dog? It's a lot that goes into it. I guess we all just got to take our own due diligence and try to approach situations with a more thoughtful mindset, like you alluded to when you was just saying, man, we got to have a little bit more thought on how we put what light we show these dogs in. The historical aspect is great of them, is great about them because that's what made these dogs what they are. They was forged in fire. That's why they've been around for so long. But there's a lot of different aspects in these dogs as well. It's not always just combat. I mean, this dog was alluded to as the nanny dog. I mean, it plays a lot of different roles, and a lot of breeds of dogs can't play certain roles. But there's been individuals in the American Pit Bull Terriers that can play those roles at a high level. They can excel at a lot of different things and do it better than some dogs that were primarily bred for that purpose. So, I feel what you're saying, Fred. It's a lot. That's a heavy pill.
Yeah, I'm just saying the gentleman part. We all want people to treat each other the way we want to be treated. Uh, when it comes to these dogs, you can put your, you know, you can put your heart out there like that. Say, yeah, I'm gonna treat this guy 100. And I try to go at every man that I come in contact with these dogs the same way. I'm gonna give you a clean slate. And I'm gonna deal with you man on man, mano on mano. If you go left, that ain't because I went left. It's because you went left. So what you saying now? Because you went left, that's gonna make me treat you a different way. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I just allow you to go left. Then you may come back and just talk to me like nothing ain't never happened. But if you want to act like that, hey, I still may deal with you on that level. Say, oh, okay, I see you now. I see you for what you are. Because once I see you for what you are, I'm going to deal with you accordingly.
Yeah, that's a role you got to play in this thing too. It's not baseball with me. It's no. Um, I've been hardened in this game. You know what I mean? Because you gotta be a certain type of individual, and I was always the
Hey,
individual that did
that's the
things that way.
part
I
I'm
wanted to
saying.
do it.
That's the part I'm saying. You've been hardened in this game. So you kind of like, you, when I met you a few years ago, man, and we talked, and just the way that you deal when it comes to business. And I own my own business over 20 years. So I know how to treat people when they come to me for a service. You understand what I'm saying? I know how to talk to a man when he wants something from me for whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to be a gentleman to you. I'm gonna try to speak to you in a proper way. And a lot of times, I don't use the you know, uh, bad words to explain it. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh
try
yeah,
my
yeah.
best not to,
I be trying to
say.
hold back too. I cuss like a
Yeah, you
pirate,
you
man.
you
I
done cleaned
don't.
it up. Hey, you done cleaned it up a lot since I met you, buddy. You
I
doing
be
great.
I've been trying,
But
boy, because
I
me,
think you
man.
I think you really trying now harder because you got a son. But the thing is, it's really you know you gonna be a light for a youngster now. So you're gonna have to move a little bit differently. But you were cleaning it up before he got here. But at the same token, we talking about gentlemen in this sport, American Pit Bull Terrier. We look at it in the same way. You know what I'm saying? As just treating people in a decent way. So when you treating people uh, like they really don't mean nothing but another, person bought my dog, or another person that uh, I did business with, and now I don't need you no more. No, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, a lot of guys call me and they say, "Well, Fred will give you some information on what to do and how to do, what you need to do to the dogs." And I've been generous with my information. I have. I really have been.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
give you that 12/7. You do a lot more than what you have to do to
but
help some brothers out.
even my family tell me that I need to chill out on, just let some people find out the hard way the same way I had to find out. But I look at it like this: if I can keep a man from spending 2-3 years going down the rabbit hole when he don't really got to go down that rabbit hole, I'm gonna try to do my due diligence to try to help you if you want to listen, because some people don't listen. To keep you from going down that rabbit hole. But
Yeah, I can't stand them motherfuckers. Those be the
uh,
worst people because they ask for your input, and then when you give it, they don't listen. So it was like, what was the point of asking me, homie? Like for real. We ain't even have to have. That's
oh,
30 minutes of my life I can never get back.
man, they do worse than that. They ask you, then they ask 10 other people the same question, and don't end up not doing none of it. End up, even if even if it was to save a puppy, if he had coccidia, they ask 10 people, and you may be number 9. And they
Hey, let
still
me
don't.
catch some of these people in this chat real quick, man. Shout out to M1. Shout out to Man of Beast Bulldogs. Can y'all talk about some methods for keeping fleas and ticks down in your yard kennel setups? Yeah, you got to check out some of our previous lives, Man of Beast Bulldogs. We go in depth with flea treatment. We go in depth with yard maintenance, chain setups. There's a whole series of lives on here that we did. Some of that stuff we may reiterate if we have time, but we got we starting to get a little history behind us. Check out them old lives. Bottom Boy Kennels in the building. DeMarco Smith, Byron Gray, Paris Jackson. What's going on?
Salute to y'all.
At the same time, I guess we could. I'm trying to approach this in this conversation in a way, Fred. You know how I'm trying to word it where it don't come off Brooklyn, but you just got to come in on the level playing field. I approach the business just like I approach the dogs in general. I'm real cut when it comes to my dogs. I'm looking for X, Y, and Z in these dogs. When it comes to business, it's the same thing. I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. You're dealing with grown men. You're dealing with grown women. This gentleman aspect is where we gotta hone our skills. If we even try to push this kind of narrative that community, we use words as community, fraternity, brotherhood. Those words get thrown out there, but what actual work goes into that to make that comment true?
Wow.
So we gotta
Wow.
watch how we conduct business and conduct conversation amongst each other. Because just because you got dogs and I got dogs, that's what we have in common. That's it. There's a whole individual behind these dogs. We do the lives, Fred. He sits here and he talks to you guys, discusses info with y'all. You kind of gather what type of human being Fred is. And it ain't no front on what Fred got going on. The same way he sound on here is pretty much the everyday Fred you're gonna get. He's a good brother. He goes to help people. Good business. That's what good business is. I can sell you a dog. I can sell you a dog, and after I sell you that dog, business wise, we're done. A transaction is complete. Anything that I do after the fact is just me being a good person, trying to help you out because I don't want my dog sick and I don't want my dog to die. I want my dog to get a fair shake and be able to reach full maturity so an assessment can be made on the animal. Because all I need is information. I keep a lot of dogs personally off my breedings, and the dogs that I do allow to go to good brothers, I want assessments back on these animals. I want to know how the litter played out. This all goes into my numbers and what I'm doing, because everything's being recorded mentally over here at Thompson'S Kennels. These dogs that are being produced, I want to see what they mature into, and I can make assessments that actually validate that was a good breeding. That's something that can possibly be built upon. So, we got to treat each other with respect. Calm down with all of the rah-rah talk in general, too. You know what I mean? Let's pull it back a little bit. Let's start getting into some other aspects of the breed just to help out, because it's a mass confusion. It's not a secret anymore. The internet has changed the whole playing field for me. And once I saw how the internet was playing, first person I really seen on the internet was Tom, when he was starting to make videos of Bulldog Hill back in the day. We talking 12, 13 years ago. This was around the time I was on, and I started seeing the videos. Once you start advertising dogs to the public and everybody can gather these dogs or own them, because there's people that don't own yards, there's people that's not breeders, there's people that's not conditioners, handlers, show people, there's people who just own the dog. Pet ownership is big in these dogs now. So there's a lot of people who got them. And like I said, once you start we start making these narratives, man, it goes down a crazy hole, man. It really goes some wild places in these dogs. So I would just say, everybody treat each other with respect and be conscious of what comes out your mouth and how it comes out your mouth. Because, like Fred said, once it's out to the world, it's out to the world.
Well, I think uh, on here we you know, I'm really grateful to be a part of what you got going on your cook-ups, Thompson, because it's something that me and you talked about before you did it. And I told you, if it's going to be going in a way that I'm not comfortable with, I don't want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, man, uh, after we dead and gone, people still going to be able to pull up Thompson Kennel Lives with Pitbull City and Thompson Kennel on it. You laughing at me, grandbaby? But hey, that's true facts, man. And I don't want, you know, all this that we're doing to be in vain, bro. I want it to be some substance to it. I wanted to have. Hey, I'm gonna go back and listen to Thompson and Fred talk about this cook up. They explain something that I'd never heard before, and it means a lot to me to hear it again because it's gonna make my yard a better yard. And if somebody's saying that, I want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a part of
That's
somebody
that's
uh,
facts.
doing something that's gonna make this American Pit Bull Terrier a better breed of dog out here to the public. You know, I listen to a lot of guys, you know, because we talking, sometimes we talk about the American Pit Bull Terrier and we talk about them in a historical fashion, you know what I mean? But everybody is not talking about these American Pit Bull Terriers in historical fashion because we own American Pit Bull Terriers right now. And if you own an American Pit Bull Terrier right now, you not got the privy to talk about historical stuff in a way that's going to be the wrong way. I put it like that. Uh, on a live on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever. You know, you can put your little slang with it. We hog hunting, and you know, it ain't a whole lot of people that got the balls to go out in the woods with dogs to call themselves going to hunt a hog. Cause I know people that did that and didn't come back. So don't
Facts.
always talk about a hog hunt and put it on there like it's something that anybody can do, because that's a lie. That's a straight up lie. You know what I mean? So if you got American Pit Bull Terriers and you got them and you raise them and you know, some people sell dogs like me. I sell American Pit Bull Terriers. Thompson, he sells American Pit Bull Terriers. Then you got some guys that get them. They do other things with them, but whatever they do with them, that's their business. But what I'm saying, if you got them and you're not doing right by them, it ain't no use in getting on YouTube. I I feel like this. I know what I do with my American Pit Bull Terriers. I can stand on my square 100%.
Mm. And that's real talk.
I can stand on my square 100%. I don't have to start talking about the, the hogs in the woods. I don't have to talk about my dogs climbing walls, which they probably could. You know what I'm saying? They probably can do bite work. They probably can do treadmill training. I may have a couple of them that can go to a dog show and win. That's true facts. But how many people actually do that stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean,
the, it's the
if we're gonna be honest about it, be honest about it. And hey, if you like American Pit Bull Terriers, that's good. but everybody can't do what Thompson Kennel do. I mean, I've been trying to hang with you, but the more I go on these lives, I realize I'm out of my element. You understand what I'm telling you? I
Yeah,
respect you
yeah,
100% when it comes to these lives. When you look at Thompson, when he used to do his yard uh, videos, I'm gonna tell. I was listening to a Samurai this week, and a guy was talking about uh, when Thompson used to be painting the dog houses and stuff like that. I remember that. But you know,
yeah,
when I started looking at Thompson, it's right before he got that dog named Cookie, and a lot of people don't realize Cookie came from me, and a lot of people don't realize uh, the dog that Thompson had, the first one, his name was uh, what's his name
Crush.
was Cold Crush. That dog was born right here in my backyard. I did the breeding. The female Thompson killed Cold Crush. That dog's Cold Crush come off of my female. I whipped them puppies in my backyard. You understand what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah,
like
talk your shit, Fred.
like when we talk about Hustle Man, that breeding that y'all see Hustle Man would never ever happen if it wasn't for me. Because you had Anthony Graham and you had H4L. H4L and Anthony Graham, they didn't see eye to eye, brother. But one thing about it, I was friends with both of those guys. And H4L asked me the question. He said, Fred, I want to ask you a serious question, man. And I said, what is it? He said, if you had Sheba, man, would you breed it to A. Graham's Manny or would you breed it to Bad Frank? And, you know, I knew the man owned Bad Frank, but,
And
you know,
Bad Frank is the Bad Frank is the
I
side of Boston George for the people who don't know.
not only Boston George, but he's the granddaddy to the dog that you have. Uh, mailman,
Yeah, I had a direct daughter off of Frank.
Bad Frank.
You know,
So
just
mailman,
just so we can put this in context, because everybody's running around here. I got this off of that. We was playing with that dog almost 10 years ago.
yeah,
10 years ago, we was watching dogs come off of that dog. Just so
yeah,
people know where we stand at in this whole situation, because I guess
yeah,
people be
yeah,
talking like it ain't what it is.
man,
Yeah,
man.
we was looking at the
See,
dad to
but the
that
thing
dog.
is, I had different versions of it before Thompson ever seen it. You know, we was over here
Exactly,
breaking it down, figuring out
exactly.
which ones was going to be the better direction to go, as we call culling this and culling that, getting the better dogs to come out to the public. And Hustle Man was a product of that. You know,
Hmm.
Cold Crush was that litter that Cold Crush came out of. I haven't till this day seen a litter to come off like the litter that Cold Crush came out of. Cold Crush had a sister that had a blue eye, and she was black and white.
Yeah, I named the Blue Ivy dog that I got off of that shit because
She
I
was
got.
black and white with a blue eye.
Yeah, I think that's a granddaughter, a great or granddaughter to Crush, and I fucked around and did that breeding with Ghost Man to Black Mary, and that damn same dog rolled right the fuck up out of there. Cause I saw Blue Ivy on Yard back in the day,
Yeah,
and that was before I even met you. And I
right.
was like, damn, that's a nice ass that we talking about. This is like what, 11, 12, 13 years ago, something like that.
Man, when we sit here till this day right now, and we talk about traits, we talk about what goes on into a Boyle's dog, what goes on to get a better Boyle's dog, what constitutes a Boyle's dog. Because most Boyle's dogs, you either going to go to Eli side or you're going to go to Bolio side. Are you going to just stay into whatever Ronald was putting together. So you got 3 different ways to go. Then you got the Dirty Mary dogs, you got the Queen of Heart dogs, you got the handicap dogs. You got different versions of dogs that, Backstreet True had a version. WCC's had a version. Gino had a version. You got so many
Walker,
different
Tommy Walker
what
stuff. It was a lot.
Tommy Walker, and then like Brown got some of the Loomis blood. I mean, there's so many different versions of what we call a Boyle's dog. Now you got the Pitbull City dogs. Now you got the Thompson Kennel dogs. You feel me? We study going into history now. Because at the beginning, when we first started breeding these dogs, Thompson, we was called everything under the sun just for owning these dogs.
Facts.
But the thing is, it didn't deter you from breeding them, and it definitely didn't deter me.
No shit. I tell people when I rebuilt my yard, because I used to have dogs without papers back in the day. We talking 15 years ago, 16. I used to have dogs without papers and all that shit. And when I was rebuilding my yard, I was sitting down contemplating how I'm going to approach this situation. I had some dogs with papers that were already checked out, so I kept them. And I said, I'm not going to go the normal route, because I could have bought any and anything underneath the sun. I said, I just want to get back to the basics of a solid dog. I'm not chasing no accolades. I'm not chasing nothing. I acquired Cold Crush from a homeboy of mine and registered them papers. And when I registered them papers, that's how Fred reached out to me, was from that Cold Crush dog. That's why I say, people say papers. Sometimes papers link people together and magic can happen. You know what I mean? And acquiring dogs, I said, I think it was Ant who sent me that picture of Manny. And it was a picture of him. And I mean, that dog was just impressive.
Yes,
and
sir.
I said, you know what? And I said, and we talking, this was when he was about 2.5 years old, 2 years old.
I took that picture of Manny in my backyard. And if you look on Pets Online, you'll see a picture of Cold Crush father. His name was Mad Frankenstein. I took that picture of him in my backyard. I took those pictures.
And I saw that picture, and I said, hey, I got to bust a move. Man, chase a good damn dog. Chase a good dog is what I'm trying to get across, Fred. I could have spent money with this person, this kennel, this big kennel. I could have got this big kennel named dogs that came off of this. I could have did all of that shit and tried to make something work. But when you just go down to the basics of bulldogs, you just want to get something off a good, solid damn animal. If you could start off with just some good, solid dogs off a nice game bred animal that's producing some good dogs, you'll be in a good place. And that's what I did. I decided I'm gonna deal with Fred because it was honest. I seen all the dogs. I've been to the yard. I seen what they was doing, how they was trying to do it, what they was already producing off of it, and which way it was kind of going. And I was like,
But you got to think about this, Thompson. When you met me, I met you through Anthony Graham.
Exactly.
So you met me when you came to get the puppy.
In person, yeah. So I think I spoke to you. I think I spoke to you on the phone because you called me with the damn papers because I registered Crusher, but he was a seal colored dog. He wasn't black.
Yeah.
And I guess when he was a puppy, he a lot of them boils.
He wasn't black.
Not even them boils, but those type of, some of them dogs will come out looking black as puppies, but when they get that first shed, they start turning the seal color. Because I like Geronimo and Preacher. Those dogs look black as hell as puppies. Now, when the sun hit Preacher, you can see a whole red undertone underneath his black coat. So now he done turned a whole different color. So when I sent the papers off and I sent the picture of Crush and everything, they saw that seal color, and I guess they said, "Hey, we're gonna reach out to PBC and see what the hell going on." Because Crush was already about 2.5, going on 3 when I got him. He wasn't no young dog. He was already out there.
Yeah, he was already had some size to him.
Yeah. So he wasn't no puppy. But yeah, I mean, when I first met you, it was through Ed when I came down to grab that cookie dog.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you, when you came to the house, I treated you just like a brother. I treated you just like a brother from that day forth.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's a
And Cookie going
gentleman.
on like 10
That,
years. And get
hey,
Cookie
that's
going on like 10
that
years old.
that's a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Does that mean
Yeah.
anything in the dog world? I don't know.
It should.
It
It
might it
should.
might be overrated. It may be overrated. But you know when I listen to Barkery and I listen to uh what's the Jamaican man name that be on there?
Boom. Rasta boom.
Boom, my man, boom, baby. Hey, and see a couple guys that deal with me know Boom personally. I never met Boom, but I listen to Boom. You can tell Boom is a brother. You feel me? And
Mm-hmm.
hey, it's amazing, and you can hear in his voice just the love he have for not only the dogs but for the people.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said? I don't know if y'all really understand what I'm telling you. When you hear Boom, you can hear the love that man have for the dogs. Not only for the dog, but for the people.
Yeah. But I guess that's what we gotta get back to, man. You know what I mean?
And look,
I think
book,
I think it's getting too grimy out here.
in my book, in my book, hey, not only with the dogs, but I'm gonna put the dogs aside. People like Boom, I can see being around a man like that. You understand what I'm telling you? Cause like when I was, not into the dogs, I put it like that. I just didn't hang around anybody, bro. That's just
Yeah,
what
that's
gonna
true.
happen like that.
We
Oh,
got shit. We got bro.
you like the way I
We,
said that? You like that?
we got we got brother Brown on here, man. Shit, he just checked in. Shit, what's going on? Brown's Kennels in the building.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, Fred? Tomps?
What's up?
Poppin'.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Same old,
Hey,
same old.
We've been trying to
man,
hold it down for you, brother.
Yo, you know how it is, a man with kids,
Hey, hey, hey,
like,
hey.
shit.
I'm sitting right here beside Mr. Richard Brown. He he
Word.
yeah, but
he trying to run things like he running things over here.
my
Right.
son, hopefully he passing out. He with my wife and shit. Hopefully I don't hear nobody banging on nothing or nobody throwing nothing around. So I guess he probably knocked out now.
Yeah, yeah.
Be like that, son.
Dude
Be
be
like that.
wilding, bro.
What y'all's
Dude be
politicking on?
wilding. We was cooking up on the gentleman side of this. Is it hard to be a gentleman? You know, we talking about aspects of the community, how to better the community. It's a lot of shit me and Fred been touching on. A little history on my yard and his yard, and where a lot of this stuff came from, and how it been going over the years. The dogs we had access to back in the day. It was, if you told me what it was now back then, when you was first dealing with Frank and them, it's like, it was wild. You know what I mean? Now what it is today, how it changed a lot of lines within itself on our yards, man. But we just been touching on
Did
everything,
you hear
man.
what you said though?
It's
If you
crazy.
listen to what you just said, how
For the
it changed
mouthful, man.
on our yard from back then to today. Because if you listen to what you said, those dogs that came off of Bad Frank, not only Bad Frank, but off A. Graham Manny, is not the same.
Oh boy, here we go.
Woo! Hey,
Talk your
chew on
shit.
that for a minute. Hey, did we make it better or did we make it worse? That's the next cookup for
Hey,
another day.
all right. Hey,
Hey, hey, because it was Manny first, and I remember when Frank came around. I remember you was in the kitchen and you was putting certain stuff together, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just sit back and watch how this play out because I wanted to see what it was and how it was gonna play out when it played out. And by the time I got Beretta and stuff, that was already a circumstance right there. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna see what it is. But yeah, you hit the head. You hit the nail right on the head. People who don't know, if y'all looking at some of our pedigrees, that shit ain't the same. It ain't the same by a long shot. But you can see how certain strands changed with him in it compared, because I kept it separate over the years. I didn't put it in all of my breedings. I said I'm just gonna run a little, if you want to call it the mailman Miss Hustle strand, that's what you could call it. But that's where it's coming through on my yard, is from them two dogs, mailman and his belly mate sister. And from that right there, that whole little strand, they offspring dumb individuals as themselves, they're different compared to the dogs that don't have the Frank in it, a la the Ghost Man dog and dogs that were bred like that, the Proud Berries, the Cookies, all of them, they don't have that strand in them. But you can tell clear as day if you've been fucking with that blood, the dogs who got it and who don't.
Hey, and you calling it the strands and how it changed, but uh,
what you going
we
for?
gonna stick to it, and we gonna call it the influence.
I like that word too. The influence. The influence.
Yes, sir. Because that's exactly what happened. Because we wouldn't jump in ship and say, "Well, I'm gonna jump ship and I'm gonna jump on on, on another bloodline," because we was already in the Manny line. Now, since we on the line now, you got Thompson Kennels, and he had the mailman in the Miss Hustle. You got Pitbull City. I had the Golden Girl, and I think I just had Golden Girl at the beginning.
Yeah, you ran that stuff. You ran that stuff straight through Golden Girl for a minute, I
Yeah, I
believe.
had the Golden Girl, and then later on, I got the Boston George coming
Mm-hmm.
through Cobo. But now, since it's just Pitbull City and Thompson Kennel, now I'm gonna flip this thing over to Brown's Kennel. Now, Brown Kennel, he ran the Bad Frank blood tighter than me or Thompson did. And
Facts.
he can speak on a different kind of influence that Frank had, because he seen some stuff that neither one of us seen. Not only did I have the Golden Girl, I also had Supercharge. I forgot about Supercharge
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
because
Supercharged.
Brown had Supercharged sister.
So yeah, I had the sister and the brother.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had Pitbull City Supercharge, and Brown had the brother and sister Supercharge. Yeah.
And it ain't the
So
same
Brown seen a
now.
whole different progression of how this line was gonna change up, and it really did change, even till the day, because Brown took the blood and bred it again into No Name. So he can tell you a lot more than I could ever tell you, just because Brown was able to put his hand on some dogs that at the beginning he didn't know nothing about. But as time went on, he learned. And he learned what was good and what was bad. So a lot of times we get these dogs, and you may start off just like Brown did with a clean slate, but you got to do your work. You don't do your work, you don't what you call it, Brown? You don't. don't get no reward?
Nah, man. You know, ain't nobody never want to give you the reward. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Hey,
they
bro,
don't
you
want
don't
to do
get no
that.
reward.
Nah, they don't want to do that. You know, everybody they want their cake and eat it too.
Hey,
And
hey,
you know
no,
what I
I'm gonna
mean?
tell you what they want, Brown. They just want to forget about all the work you put in and just let me get it.
Hey,
Cause
and man,
hey, when I get it, the stuff I use is gonna be better than what you did.
preach.
That's how disrespectful a lot of these young guys is nowadays. They'll take all the work that the old, what we call the OGs or whatever, the guys that of the past,
Right.
they'll take their stuff and say, "Oh, I'm gonna put it like this, and it's gonna be better than what any of y'all ever did." But do you realize some of this stuff that they try to put together with the dogs that you been uh, 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 sitting here uh, refining? Like Thompson used to talk about the refining process. So you're gonna sit here and refine a line, right? And then you get a guy that get the dogs. He don't do no due diligence about studying to find out what these dogs were before they got them. They just jump into it and say, "Well, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna out these dogs."
Mm, mm.
Right.
To me, yeah, you could do that. You could do that. But the thing is, once you do that, are you going to be able to keep reproducing the same great dogs time and time again? Now, I'm gonna tell you something about Pitbull City, because you got two guys on the line right there. You got Thompson and you got Brown. Thompson and Brown got dogs for me, and they can tell you that on both yards they was what you call it. They was useful on both yards. On both yards, they was very, very useful. In other words, if they weren't useful, they would have got rid of them. They
Boy,
wouldn't have been still on the yard like that. They were
the nu-
used in
the
their
the
programs and
numbers
everything else.
the numbers game was always up. That was the thing that I was like, man, because when you walk into a situation where you got a male dog, a quality male dog, and you actually getting to see his first set of breedings and what he's throwing, and it was very consistent, and I could see it from the outside walking in, because all I had to see was, oh, I was like, oh yeah, this was the first breeding, and this was the second breeding, and I'm looking at the dogs, and I'm like, okay, this is very fucking consistent. Let me go ahead and get what I need to get in real quick. Because Hustle Man was really the last piece to keep it 100 with y'all. He was really the last piece because the first piece was Crush. And then when I got Cookie, that was the set off. And then I dealt with Ant and grabbed Mary. So I had two daughters off of Manny bred to two different bitches. One was a Garner bitch, and one was the Fred's blood, the Vengeance, and all of that stuff. That was right there with showgirl stuff. It was all right there. And Hustle Man came at the end, and we was talking about the gentleman aspect of this. And this is something that I can contest to. I know Graham and H4L, they didn't see eye to eye. But the fact that Fred was the type of individual that he was able to orchestrate something that I think Frank Blood cross to the Manny stuff is the most consistent stuff that I've seen. And I mean, just to be able to do certain things like that and connect certain people, magic happens. But that Sheba to Manny, that probably would have never went down. That wouldn't have went down without Fred. But sometimes you got to have a peacemaker in the fraternity or in your circle, however you want to call it. You want to have a peacemaker, and Fred played a big part because that Hustle Man, that was the icing on the cake. Because when I got him, y'all know the shit that I was talking.
And like to be honest, Fred knew me. Thompson knew me. You know what I mean? And when I did, when I met, when I met Fred, yo, I was already, I knew what I was looking for. You know what I mean? And it's different when you know what you're looking for. You know what I mean? I already had a taste of what I was looking for. And but the taste that I had, it had no paperwork on it. You know what I mean? So
Oh
at the
yeah.
end of the day, yeah.
Brown was around. Brown was around. For a lot of people who don't know, I didn't mean to cut you off. I knew Brown before I knew Fred. Me and Brown go back probably 15 years, easy. What Murray, little Brown was born, was just born when I met you, bro. So
Right,
me and him go back to the no paper days together.
right, right.
We had the shits. Niggas just they had the papers, bro.
All the papers. I had the
Hey,
dogs,
hey,
but not the
hey,
papers.
hey, y'all too. Hey, I'm loving this because I'm over here. I got my grandson. I'm trying to get him squared away for he can go to bed. But I got y'all on mute. I'm listening to y'all, so if you don't hear me for a minute, I got to change this pamper for him. But I got my hand for, but I'm listening to y'all, man. Y'all making me roll over here.
Yeah, man. It go back, man. It go back a long ways. But go ahead, bro. What you were saying?
Nah, like and go back, like you said, just you can say this and say that. You know, you could look for something that ain't there. You could breed something that you don't know what you're breeding. But at the end of the day, your name is going on this stuff. You know what I mean? And some people take this stuff serious. You know what I mean? Like Fred told you, when I came to Fred, I had that look. I was hungry. You know what I mean? I ain't wanna go backwards. We never go backwards. We always go forward with these dogs. And I'm like a forward dog. You know
Facts.
what I mean? I don't try to go backwards. I go forward, even down to the breedings. The breedings get better and better. I don't got time to waste with if, if I don't like it, you might like it. You know what I mean? But that's your choice.
Well, we got to go back into this preference. I guess that's the next cook up. Bear with me 1 second. Who can know? Even the greatest had a preference. That was one of the cook ups that we was touching on tonight. Was even the greatest had a preference. I mean, you can go back to all your great handlers, your great breeders, your great conditioners. Everybody seems to have had a preference. Hold on.
Right,
Everybody,
right.
yeah, everybody. I'm sorry, I was trying to get caught up on something real quick. I thought somebody. I think I dropped out. Fred, my
But
bad.
yeah,
Yeah, Fred, when you jump back on, I'll see you on the thing real quick. But all of these guys had a preference in these dogs, man. Ronald, Floyd, whoever you want to pull, everybody seems to have had a preference in these dogs. And when we talk about who can know, a lot of these assessments is based off of people's preferences, man, on what type of individuals you selecting the breed, what type of dogs you personally keeping off of these litters. You know what I mean? And how many people we know put together a fire litter and they decide to let some dogs go out into their circle or whatever, but they end up picking the shit one. So it's all about who you end up having at the end of the day off of some of these breeds. So all of this stuff is a personal preference. All of these historians and everybody who you hear talking about these dogs, they had a preference at the end of the day. So you got to find your preference in these dogs. Select the individuals you enjoy and you like, because at the end of the day, you got to feed them, house them, and take care of them and all of that. So that's my 2 cents
Yeah,
on that preference cook up that we had.
yeah, yeah. I mean, with preference go a long way. You know, that stuff go a long way. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
say
Yeah.
back.
that.
I'm back.
Yeah, I
Oh
say
yeah, go
that.
ahead, Fred. We cooking up on that. I don't know. I had dropped you out, Fred, but we just started cooking up on who can know. Even the greatest had their preferences in dogs.
Um, I said that. I sent that to you earlier in the week because uh, when we are finding topics and stuff, I think about the guys that I deal with. You know what I mean? Um, I got partners that uh, got different kind of dogs that they like to breed, and a lot of times when they have their dogs on the yard, they look at those dogs as that's the pinnacle. That's the best you gonna ever be able to own. You know what I'm just saying? So
Yeah.
when I say preference, you look at Boudreaux, you look at Tom Garner, you look at Pat Patrick, because you know Ronald Boyles got a lot of his stuff from Pat Patrick. And then you look at
Pat
all
Patrick's behind a lot.
the Eli dogs that they crossed into the dogs that he got from Pat Patrick to make the dogs that we see today. You understand? So even like when Ronald do his breedings and stuff, you got guys that bring their dogs back to Ronald to breed to what I would call the lines of dogs that Ronald always kept. There's certain dogs that he always kept. He didn't water it down, as we would say. So you got other guys that had different versions of a Boyle's dog. Even when you think about Randy Goodman, when he did his breedings, the Milkman, he would always go back with a Boyle's dog, and he would go get him some more Bolio blood to go with it. And he made a different kind of dog. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that just was his formula of making his Boyle's dogs. And he was very successful doing that. You had different guys that bred these Boyle's dogs different ways. Do you mean that one person was a better at what they was doing? You know, a lot of times we say what is best because they had the most champions or grand champions. But a lot of times you can have champions and grand champions. You can have producers and ROM dogs, but at the same time, uh, I think you really look at the whole picture of what was good, because you only have some dogs. It look good on paper, but if you see, I hear them talking about it on one of the lives the other day. You're not able to see what the dog look like until you go to the yard. You go to the yard and you see the dog. Your whole thought about that dog might go down the tubes, because you would say, "Oh, that's good for you, but that ain't what I'm thinking is good for me." You know what I mean? Just
I tell
uh,
people, man, you better be impressed with the animal. I talked about the Manny in the picture, and all of that. You better be impressed with the animal. You know what I mean? You know, you can say. I ain't gonna say and hold you, man. I done seen dogs with accolades. I done got stuff off dogs with accolades, and it looked pretty at certain points. But if you see him in real life, that it's like, wow, really? You know what I mean? It's some of that stuff ain't what you think it is physically. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. It's crazy when you
Then
really
you
be
got
around
some
these
people.
dogs.
You got some people that really believe that a lot of times you got these dogs with all the accolades on it is a beautiful dog, and that's one of the most misconceptions thing that you have. Because a lot of the dogs that I know that got accolades, they some ugly jokers, bro. But that ugly dog is just like an ugly stick. You don't want to get hit by it.
It's facts though. They ain't pretty. Those motherfuckers ain't pretty, man. I mean,
If you're
see
looking
some
for
jokers
pretty,
over the
keep looking.
years, bro.
Man, I'm telling you, you're looking for pretty. Keep on looking for pretty.
Sometimes they be the ugliest little turned up motherfuckers in the world, but I mean, it's all a preference thing. Here we go back again to the preference conversation, man. Ronald had a preference. Everybody had a preference. Everybody had a style of dog. Of course, gameness was always the focal point, but after the gameness, there's a lot of shit that go into a dog. Personality wise, you know what I mean? Temperament wise, a lot of levels into these dogs when you get past gameness. And everybody like a certain style. Some people like that heavy hide, heavy bone, straightforward type of dog. Some people like those ballerina type of dogs, those tightly built, light, athletic, tight in the hips, can maneuver out of any damn situation. They can do athletic things. You know, confirmation build on these dogs really does kind of predict what style they end up having at the end of the day, even from a historical standpoint. You know, everybody ain't. If you getting these big, heavy bone, durable type of dogs, that was their style historically. That's why they built like that. To come straightforward. Some of the dogs that's built like Spider Man and shit, they was meant to do some Bruce Lee type shit. You know what I mean? They cut like that. So everybody has a preference, even to the damn look of these dogs.
And then you got simple things to talk about, like do they bark all night long, or do they? Uh, or you got them on the chain spot, they gonna dig the china and break off
Yeah.
all the teeth and eat wood and eat wood till they then stop their whole darn uh, back end up and can't bush it out and be dead on the chain the next day. I mean, just crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, these dogs they throw that same kind of foolishness to their offspring. You got to be able to pick and choose your battle. I believe when it comes to these dogs, that's what I call a preference, because over the years that I've been breeding dogs, I had a preference of dog that I was gonna put up with, and some that I was not. And I believe everybody, when it comes to these dogs, everybody got a preference. So a lot of people ask the question: is the dogs of old better than the dogs that we have today? I believe they have had a preference back then, and I believe they got a preference now. I don't think they're going to be no better than they was yesterday than today, because a lot of times, you're going to have dogs that get weeded out, no matter how you look at it. Some of them get taken from people. Some of them die on the chain from starvation because people
Mm,
ain't taking care of their dogs. I mean, you got so many different ways that dogs get up out of here
mm.
all the
That's
time.
the reality of it. That's the reality of a lot of this shit in these dogs, man. Shit, people talk about culling, bro. By the time the war is over, you be lucky to have walked away with one damn dog sometime, man.
Man, you used to say it all the time. It seemed like a curse on the boys' dogs. You can say, "Well, I'm not going to breed that dog this time. Come around the next time to breed the dog. Dog already dead. Get out of here."
Man, that shit was real, man. I mean, them, Cause I got two strands. I like my Red Boy Jocko termite stuff because that's what I came into the game with. And shout out to Dob. I would love to get him on here one day, man, just for him to speak his mind. You know who I'm talking about, Fred. So
D.O.B. What's up, D.O.B.?
yeah, that's the man who bred Reba. That was when I first moved down here. He was one of the first people I linked up with in them dogs, and I had bought Reba from him. But I like my Red Boy Jocko termite stuff. But them Boyles crosses and them Boyles Bolio and Eli bred dogs, those dogs made me have to step my kennel situation up. You feel what I'm saying? As far as how I was housing dogs, man. Because you gotta have a pretty sturdy setup to keep them dogs alive. Some of them, especially we was talking about the bad Frank influence on it. Shit. You'd be surprised, man. I had to change the whole setups, man, to house some of them dogs because they can get out of every fucking thing. I mean, everything, man. These climb cages. I mean, they do the most acrobatic stuff. The stuff you be saying, there ain't no way that dog could do that. You think about it when you look at the setup, but in the back of your head, you be like, "Yeah, man, that dog can't never do that shit." And then they do it. Yeah, man, that's a different animal, man. Them dogs is wild.
And then you don't really think about it until you get accidents on the yard and all kinds of stuff. You know, I I didn't cut down on a lot of my accidents. Uh, I got a lot of dogs up off the ground. I try to do like you did the other week. Put that space in between them where they can't touch each other, can't be, and it quiets the whole yard down when you got dogs in a better living situation. Some people got their dogs too close together, man. You're gonna stay on fire all the time. Your
And I know
yard gonna stay on
that
fire.
fire shit, it looked cool until setups start failing, and then you know what I mean. Now you're over bulldogging. You to the point now where it's like now it's a problem. You know them setups is big. Now I like the fact that when I got into that family tree of dogs and I started dealing with you, and even when Brown came through and I saw him take his yard a different way because he went heavy Eli at first with it. He was doing a lot of Eli stuff. So just to be able to sit back in my area code and watch how different strands was being created, it benefited the whole thing.
And I give respect to all of that because when you take and you change that one dog changes the whole thing of what you're gonna get, man. I mean, it really does. And a lot of people don't realize how much power is in that one change, that one dog being changed in that pedigree. And it really matters where that dog's sitting at in that pedigree. I done took it and changed it from the bottom to the top, and to see what kind of effect it is. It's a big effect. A lot of
It
people don't
changes.
realize that it's a big effect.
You can get, and you know shit, when you're talking about quality dogs, I mean, you do some of these breeds, just like you said, you can see traits change in the same group of dogs, just in the way it's situated, the way you're pairing them together. I mean, it it gets deep. I can honestly say that when you're dealing in these dogs breed wise, it gets real deep. Because if you're a person who sits back and you're watching these dogs and raising them and watching them to full maturity and you see how this stuff is, man, I can understand and respect Ronald's formula on how he does what he does, even though my dog's ancestry is from him, but I've been pairing my stuff with different strands and of Eli and Bolio and Sorrels and red and termite blood. I've been formulating my own little cocktail and seeing strands come. But tip your hat to a lot of these guys who did have a certain kind of preference because there is an art to breeding them dogs, especially people who keep the original line intact the way he would have tried to do it and stuff. It's an art to create what he's creating, and it's an art for a lot of these great brothers. Is an art in your preference, and everybody's preference ain't the same. That's why these dogs change in different people's hands in certain situations. So, I mean, Brian, what you got on it?
Yo, excuse me, man. I'm up here chopping down some shit. Hey, it means a lot because you got so many ways you can look at it, especially when you're dealing with one thing about preference, and it all depends on what position you playing in it. You know, you could be the breeder, you could be the dog man, you could be, whatever you like. You could be all in one. But it's kind of crazy because when you look at preference, you got so many dogs to go through. No matter how you go through your dog to see what you like, especially with the quality you like, are you able to say if you breed it once, are you be able to get it again?
Mm.
Are you do you know what you're dealing with? Do you know how to read that past? So it's what you're dealing with. Can you keep breeding it? Can you keep it? Like I like gas. I like aggression. You know, that's what I breed for. So
Yeah,
I choose my dogs wisely that I pick. And it's
yeah,
not always the loudest dog that's the most aggressive. You can have the quietest dog, but he's full of aggression. Let's talk about Bodacious. Bodacious was a quiet dog, but she's omega. She's an alpha female. Black
yeah. But
Knight, an alpha male.
this was a
You
nice
know what
one.
I mean? These dogs let you know that they're the alpha on the yard. I still have alphas on my yard.
Boy, stick true to your preference. But shit, we cooking up. We got one more. We gonna hit this. This was another one. We was all talking the shit. Farming dogs out. What's the rules? Are there rules?
I like that.
Yeah.
Are there really
Are
rules?
there rules?
Can those rules be broken?
Oh,
Can them rules be broken?
for real? Is that your buddy?
Hey, 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 bro, did you forget what we talked about? Oh, did we get anything on paper? Nah, man,
Right.
we boys, man. We boys, man.
Is that your buddy? Did you send any
Mm-mm.
money to feed this dog?
Mm. Mm.
Do you
Did you
got the
come?
paperwork?
Are
I
you
bet
going to try to come by at least once or twice a month to help clean up the yard?
you.
You gonna
That's
help me do some water some of these dogs?
right, right.
All
So
right,
what is it?
let's break it. Let's break into it because we got some people who don't understand or know what farming dog out is. So if y'all one of y'all brothers, y'all farming out. What is farming out, Fred? What is farming out?
Well, I'm gonna put it like this. I can't really say for a say because I don't try to use that means of transportation too much. But when I was uh, taking in other people's dogs on the yard, uh, I did it for a while, but I didn't see any type of growth in it. I didn't see any type of uh, helping my yard become a better yard. I didn't see uh, where it was going to benefit me in any way. And at the
Mm.
end of the day, it was more of a hassle than uh, doing it. Now, that was in the past, in the beginning when I first got into dogs, because a lot of people try to use you and take advantage of you, especially if you green and you hanging around some guys that been in the dogs for a while, and they supposed to be showing you how to, you know, showing you the ropes, as they would say, and they're gonna place about 2 or 3 dogs over there on your yard, and they place them over there, but they don't do anything to try to help you take care of the dogs, and taking care of the dogs is gonna be
Hold on,
all on you.
we got to go in depth because we said we was gonna cover. All right, hold on. So let me get the context ready for the chat. For the chat, there's a farmer and there's a farmee. Okay, it's two people who play in the farming out game. The farmer and the farmee. Now, the farming game, the best case scenario is you probably don't have the money to purchase dogs. So the farmer, the person who has the dogs, says, well, you take 2 or 3, like Fred alluded to, but there's going to be with some kind of withholding. You're not going to get the documentation on those dogs. That really happens from my experience dealing in these dogs. You don't get the paperwork when you are farmed out a dog. You get the dog itself. The dog could be a young dog, a puppy. You raise the dog up, but overall, you open yourself to a situation where you don't have control over that dog. So the farmer has the control. Now, if you're the farmee and you turn out to be somebody who's good at taking care of dogs and stuff like that, they may be a situation if you uphold, because usually the deal is you raise the dog up, check it out. If it turns out to be a decent dog, come back, breed it to me. I get my pick off the litter or my puppies, and I'll give you the paperwork, and you can keep the original dog I gave you. That's normally how it's supposed to work. Does it normally work out that way? No. A lot of people get taken advantage of. I've seen situations in my tenure in dogs where I've seen people with yards of dogs that wasn't their dogs.
Yo, not only that, now you stuck with dogs with no papers. And nine
Not-
times out of 10, yeah, because 9 times, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that farming out dogs causes a lot of problems because you got stipulations behind it. People expecting you to stand up to your part of the agreement. But at the end of the day, you don't know you from a can of paint, and you don't know them from a can of paint. You know, that it starts a whole different, it starts problems. You could be best of buddies and you farm out a dog and something happen. Now it's an issue. You know, a lot of people ain't gonna go back to their word. Sometimes you fall into the situation of, well, damn, I done took care of this dog. I done been feeding this dog. Where you been at? A lot of people, you got people that count down days and count down numbers, bro. They're let you wait. I mean, facts. You might not
Hey,
hear from
hey,
somebody,
Brown,
huh?
hold up. That's my dog, man. That's my dog.
Right.
Hey, Brown,
Yeah, what you doing? What you gonna do when the
I,
farmee say that's my fucking dog?
how is your dog, and I've been feeding this dog for a whole year and a half, 18 months.
Right.
Now the
Right.
dog 18 months. Now you trying to come in, and now it's your dog. Well, get out of
Now
here.
it's your dog. You know what I mean? Not only is it your
Man,
dog, I haven't heard from you since I got the dog.
But it's my dog.
wow.
You know, don't get me wrong. That's why I don't knock nobody in the direction they go from when it come down to even purchasing a dog. Cause you might can't spend that amount of money for for let's say a quality dog.
A quality dog.
You know what I mean? You might can't spend that amount of money. So
That's
you
true.
go, yeah, you go where, hey, if somebody's selling a dog for 500, hey, more power to you. You know what I mean? But at
That's
the
right.
end of the day, that's your dog. Make sure you get your paperwork. You know what I mean? That's where you start off from. You don't know how far you might be getting the best dog. a lot of people get the best dog of their life when they pay little amount of money and or whatever. It might be a full scatterbred dog, but to you is everything. You know, don't be so eager to all free shit ain't good stuff, man. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's good.
I've seen a lot of situations with that farming dog shit out where it get violent, man. It get violent. You know what I mean? Because people, I would say this for the young brothers. If you are in that situation, I would say save your bread, do your research, find some dogs that fit what you're trying to do, and roll the dice on that level before I would say get into a situation with some, especially a lot of people don't know that some people dead serious in these dogs. You know what I mean? And you end up getting some dogs, and you know it could be a lot of foul play from the farmer, and it could be foul play from the farmee, because the farmee could be doing breedings with dogs, and that wasn't the agreement. You know, nobody
Wow.
knows. No,
I
nobody
didn't, I
knows
didn't,
what the
I didn't
nobody
think,
knows what the other hand is doing.
I didn't think nobody would do that, would they? They
Oh
gonna
yeah,
breed.
you got some people that don't care about papers. Papers don't make the dog.
So you what you gonna do? Breed my dog while I'm gone 18 months, and you
Yeah,
gonna have
man.
other puppies you didn't tell me about?
Hmm.
Man,
Or
that's
you could,
crazy.
or you could be screwed by the farmer, because I done seen people get farmed out dogs that never had the fucking papers.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, this is how ugly the shit goes. I done seen people get farmed out dogs that never had the documentation, and then when after the person done did all this damn work with this dog, and it's time to do the breedings for them to get their little yard together, long and behold, the homeboy ain't never had the damn documentation on the dog in the first place.
The
How you
whole
feel
Yeah.
about how you
the
feel
whole
about that?
the
Not
whole
only that,
thing was the whole thing was in vain. Goodness gracious.
right. Just imagine, right? You don't farm out a dog. The dog is alive, but when you see the dog, you look at the conditions of the dog. It's not what you expect.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Yeah, the dog alive. Yeah, but when you look at the dog, it's not what you expect. It's the
Uh,
condition. You could get a dog. Somebody could farm a rookie out of dog, and you got some that'll do up. That's to their knowledge. But then you got some that, like I always say, if you can't take care of yourself, how you gonna take care of a dog?
mm.
Hey,
And what about those poor farmers who get them sick dogs and bring them back to life, and then they turn and then they put all that work in, and then it's a little play. Man, yeah, man, I'd just take my losses and save my money and go like that about it, you know, before I start doing a whole bunch of. That's too much for me, bro. But
I,
I ain't knocking nobody who does it. If it works out and you're dealing with a good brother, because let's talk about the positive situation of it. Like I alluded to earlier, the positive situation is it could play out exactly how it play out. You end up getting some good dogs, and then whatever agreement you and that person came to, you fulfill your obligation, and then they uphold theirs. And if it's usually a farm out situation, they usually just want a breeding and a couple of picks off of the litters. Whatever y'all agree upon. If you fulfill that, they'll give you them damn dogs, and y'all can build a working relationship. You know what I mean? That is the positive side of it, but you know, you're gonna roll the
And
dice either which way.
yeah, that's a
I had
possibility.
a scenario, right? I ain't trying to talk about nobody and whatever, whatever. But another thing we could talk about with farming, right? I say you farm out a dog. What do you want back off this dog? Do you want me to breed this dog 2-3 times and give you a pair off of each breeding? How deep you want to
Woo!
go into that, bro?
That's something that you probably need to discuss. How many pups, how many breeds? I think a lot of shit go down in these dogs because it's a lack of communication when people are doing business. I'm noticing in this live the word business is coming up a lot. It seems to be a lot of mass confusion when it comes down to simple goddamn business. And that's when everything seems to fall apart. Maybe we need to, as a community, the young brothers, everybody slow down and get back to good business. Maybe that's the answer to a lot of these damn problems.
I like that.
Well,
I like that.
you know what that goes back to? That's goes back to converting to the gentleman side of things.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's be gentlemen about this. You know, if I could,
Hey, I can tell you like this. When I met Brown, Thompson had bought Cookie from me. And Brown came with Thompson, and he already had a couple dogs that was on his yard. And Brown was more or less kind of like still on the fence of getting into these dogs right here that we had. And I seen that, but I seen, like he said, I seen the hunger in his eyes. And everybody that knew Bodacious from me, all they used to call Bodacious is brood stock, but they wouldn't say brood like BROOD. They wouldn't even pronounce it right. They call it boo stock. They boo stock. They said boo stock. I said, God damn, they ain't even gonna give me a whole brood.
right?
Boo stock. So, I knew I needed some help, bro. And like, if you call me the farmer, I said, well, this farmer need a farmie. So when Brown came over here, I farmied out Bodacious. I said,
Right.
Brown, you take this and on home with you, bro. And Brown hooked her up and loaded her up and took that dog home. Now, Brown, I said, Brown, when you breed this dog, send me a girl puppy back. Now, Thompson seen this whole thing play out now. Don't laugh. Because Brown took and bred the dog, had some beautiful puppies. Now, and them puppies got up to about what, Brown? About 5 weeks old?
Yeah, about 5, 6 weeks, bro.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Oh yeah. Hey,
And what happened, Brown? They came up with coccidia. What in the world is coccidia? I ain't never heard of that. So the farmee found out that it was some things out here that he wasn't privy to. He wasn't privy to breeding dogs and coming up with coccidia and what you do now that the dogs got coccidia. Now they
yeah.
dying off and this and that. So Brown had to learn how to be a what do you call it? Farmee. He had to learn how to be a farmee because he really didn't know how to be a farmee. You know what I'm saying? So
Nah.
he did the breeding again about another 8 months or so and got some puppies again. And all them died but one. And boy, that one was hotter than fish grease. You hear me? That's all you used to hear Brown talk about. Man, Fred.
Hey, you know,
Fred, I got to do it again. Fred, I got you, man. I said, man, hey, just to hear Brown happy about what he's seen.
hey, you
Off of
know,
that booze stock. So,
hey,
Boy. And
little
Bodacious turned out to be a monster.
hey, go
That
ahead and
dog
cut
turned
me
out to
off,
be a
Brown.
monster.
Hey, Brown,
uh,
you need to play your position right now.
ah,
Farmee, I'm the farmer.
hey, play your position, son. Play your. What you know about that?
I love you, man. Go ahead,
Hey, play your
finish the
position.
story, bro. Hey,
But
but
yo,
I was sitting here in my chair, right, rocking back and forth because Thompson over there talking about he gonna lay out a darn what you say? I'm gonna lay it out for y'all guys, the Mr. Farmer and the Farmee.
yeah,
Boy.
hey, Hey, what a way! What a way! You know, hey, I look at it as when I say you're gonna just
But
to
listen, bro. What me and you did right years ago, it played out the way it's supposed to play out. Cause what? I was a gentleman, and guess what? You was a gentleman. Because
exactly,
when
But
exactly.
you
but
when
but
you
that
bred
was the
bodacious,
longest farmer-farmee
I don't
situation in
care how long
history.
it
That shit.
was. Hey, it might have took about 3-4 years. You feel me? It might have took
Right?
4 years. But
Yeah, you
listen,
darn right.
but did you ever hear me complain or say something to you, bro?
Hey, yo, and you know, you on the other hand, son, you know, I was gonna get that to you.
Man, hey, you wanted me to have it just as bad as you wanted to give it to me. You feel
Right,
me? Hey,
right.
hey, and he made sure it got in my hands. And when it got in my hands, hey, let me tell you, I got it in the back. Hey, I ain't got her in the backyard. I got a piece of the puzzle in the backyard, and I have. Hey, she barks all the time. Yap 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 yap. But I know that ain't coming from my side of the blood, though, bro. That's somebody else added into it. But can we put up with that? Hey, bro, you know I'm gonna breed that out of there as soon as I can.
I bet you
Hey,
is, man.
hey, I'm gonna run it right on back into what it's supposed to be ran to. And it won't be nothing but an eighth of it left when I get to it.
Hey,
Mm.
they just don't realize, like we was talking about that. That goes back to the gentleman side because only thing, to be honest, only thing you got is your word in here. You know what I mean? And
I love you for that, man, because you was 100.
yeah,
And look, in my book, Brown, the way you did that, you said a black what her name? Black Mary. I think her name is Black Mary. Pitbull City Black Mary. That came from Brown Kennels. That was my dog that Brown sent back to me from being a farmer to the farmee. And I
Not to
tell you,
not to be confused with Thompson's Black Mary. Thompson's Black Mary is I got a dog named Black Mary too, but I ain't what y'all think it was the same dog. But that was brown one.
yeah, it's Pitbull City's uh, Black Mary.
I just like I just like to do I just like to do good business for one, and two, you know, I take it more serious than the average Joe. You know what I mean? It's
Because
more than just about breeding. You know what I mean? It's more than first of all, it's about the dog. You know what I mean? Like I got bodacious. You know, everybody else ain't had that type of hope in bodacious. What you seen
mm,
was a young man that had the dog in him. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had the dog in me. So when I got bodacious, you know, everybody can't take care of a dog like everybody's supposed to take care of a dog. Everybody don't got the patience. You know, it's deep down the rabbit hole. You don't got the patience. You might don't, you know, like Fred, your dogs are different. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm gonna tell you something.
but shit but
I'm
shit
gonna tell
changed.
you
I ain't
what,
gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you. Shit changed when it go over there to Brown Yard because that dog turned out to be a
man.
goddamn monster.
Hey, Thompson,
Hey,
Thompson, hey, Thompson.
I said, what the
Hey,
fuck,
hey,
boy?
I'm gonna tell you like it is.
how many
When,
came over here and changed, Thompson?
hey, when Brown got bodacious, and I seen how he was taking care of bodacious, then how he was taking care of Black Knight and all the dogs that was coming to his yard, how they was on a higher level. You feel me? And
Right.
the opportunity came where a Gaga came on the market, and before anybody
Katana.
else got a chance to get that dog, I called Brown. Brown was on the road within 30 minutes, and we were meeting him halfway with Lady Gaga, the guy that wanted to sell him. And let me tell you, that's where Gaga died in his yard, and she had to be about 11 or 12 years old.
Right.
And she
Right.
wasn't no more than about 4 years old when you got her, went to she Brown, something like
Right.
that. And
Right.
see, but what I'm telling you, you take care of your dogs on a high level. Thompson takes care of his dogs on a high level. You and Thompson seen how I was taking care of my dogs when y'all came here by myself. And guess what? Till this day, I'm still by myself.
And you know what? Like, gentlemen, like I'm gonna keep it 100. You know, it's different when you paint a picture. You know, we came to the yard and we seen, like, we done been to yards. I done been to people's yard. You know what I mean? But when you go to somebody's yard and you see, you know,
He fell off, I believe. Thompson.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
gonna jump back in.
yeah, he gonna jump back in, but at the same time, when y'all came to the yard, you came first, I believe, by yourself, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think Brown came later on. But at the same token,
When I came to get proud Mary from Ant, he came down. That's when we all linked up together. That was the first time we all linked up together.
yeah,
Cause
yeah,
I went there with him and got married. And he had gotten Black Knight, and then we
yeah.
had went back. We went to your spot, and that's when we all clicked up. That was seemed like yesterday. That shit was a long ass time ago, bro.
But I tell you one thing, y'all used to love to come to the yard. Yeah, sometimes y'all would stay
Here you
a
go.
lot.
but yeah, like I
Yeah,
was saying, when you
when you
come to
go to
somebody's
somebody's yard.
yard and you look at the quality, because you know, I came to the yard, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the quality of the dogs, you know, I'm looking at, you know, I'm looking at the dog itself. I was able to see different types of bloodlines, you know, and this was back then. You know, messing with Fred, man, hey, I would have been, man, I would have had a whole lot. You know what I mean? But
And guess what? I had a lot that I was letting go of, and y'all wanted it. Y'all just and Brown said, "Hold on, you're taking me too fast."
yeah, man, for
Hell yeah,
real.
I'm gonna keep it 100 though, man. The man behind the dog meant something. I ain't gonna sit here and even hold you, cause what I admired about Fred is, like I said, like he said, he was out there by. I'm looking at this old Black man. He owned his own business. He got his family. He ain't got no time to be trying to feed no foolishness. You feel what I'm saying? He a working man. He ain't got time to be, food is valuable. You ain't trying to just feed any old body. And I see the quality, like Brown alluded to, the quality and how he kept his dog. Because I still tell people Cookie, and a lot of people don't know, Bodacious is Cookie's mother. And Cookie is going on 10 years old on my yard. So that just tells you
Wow,
that just tells
wow,
you the health. That just tells you the health of them dogs and how their
wow,
lifespan is going. Cookie is damn near pushing 10, and she still look like she's 5 or 6 physically. You know what I mean? She that blood you could tell when you was on his yard, and I admired that. And that's, like I said, a hardworking man. He ain't got no time to be out here trying to feed no bullshit, and I'm not trying to feed no shit either. I'm trying to get some good dogs.
I like that.
I'm trying to get some. I'm trying to get some good dogs, and I'm trying to. And I was honest about what I was. I was honest about what I was doing. I told you from Jump Street, hey man, I'm trying
Yeah,
to put this and this together.
yeah,
I like
yeah,
this type of stuff. I got
yeah.
this type of stuff already. I got the Red Boy Jocko stuff I've been playing with. I'm cool with DOB. That's my partner. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I got going on. And for him to deal with me and give me the info on them dogs, on what to look out for and stuff, and what to stay away from, and watching stuff, man. It was a blessing in disguise, man. But that played a part in it. The person behind the dog. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You want to.
just not dealing with you, bro. Just not dealing with you. Just to be honest, just keeping it 100. Cause yo, we done been to other people's yard. You know what I
Yeah, we done
mean?
seen a whole lot. Me and Brown have been on certain yards together. Like, yo, we done been around the block a couple times. I'm
Right.
telling y'all young bulls this info to help y'all. You know what I mean? When you do get in a privileged situation to see a yard or somebody allows you to see what they got going on and stuff, you know, keep your eyes wide open because everybody
Yeah.
ain't on the same level.
And and let me see the paperwork. Because you got people that is just as much as they will farm you out of dog, somebody done farmed them out of dog
Yeah.
without the
Mm.
paperwork.
Amen.
And then you get caught up in something of you done raise a dog and this person don't even got the paperwork, son. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
told y'all I done seen this, and that was the violent situation that I seen play out on concrete. Was that situation? I can't speak on too much, but at the end of the day, that shit it gets like that. It gets like that. I mean, something as simple as that. Not even asking the. All right, well, if you're gonna farm me out the dog, let me see the parents' paperwork. All right, you know, something simple as that.
Because be mindful that some people papers don't matter. Be very
Mm-hmm.
mindful. To some people, papers don't matter. You know, and not only that, they might just be breeding that way because they're that tied in to the dogs that they're breeding, that they're producing. You know what you might have a dog. You ask what's the paperwork, they might say ding dong. You know what I mean? And which is the
Yeah,
dog name? You know what I mean? They can't go back. They don't. They done lost track of how to even go back, bro. And a lot of
yeah,
that
bro.
happens because when somebody farm you out a dog, you fall into that trap. Everybody's not 100. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Some people
Brown,
get these.
Well,
Yes, sir.
when you say everybody not 100, did you mean it could be a stolen dog?
It could be a
oh
stolen dog.
man.
See, that's what I say, bro. It could be a lot.
Could
Everybody not
could
100.
could you mean that?
I wasn't even trying to go there, but damn,
Hey,
man.
Hey, Thompson, the rabbit hole go deeper and deeper, bro.
It go
Hey, I done
deep,
seen it
man.
all, man.
It go deep.
I done seen
Have
it
you,
all. And
have
look,
you, have you raising a
and
stolen
like you
dog?
said before, Thompson, and then you'll be affiliated for real.
Yeah, that's wild.
Hey, and a lot of guys, you got a stolen dog, and whoever yards it on, your head gonna get split too.
Yeah, a lot of people don't
Your
like.
head gonna get split, and you don't even know your head about to get split.
Hey, yo, that's why what we talked about earlier. Like, you be surprised how the dog that you inquire from somebody has a record on them already now that you don't even know about. You know, the situation how we had Manny. A lot.
Mm.
This dog had history that I ain't know about. Thompson ain't know about the stuff. You know what I mean? But the more we got into, knowing Fred and, dealing with Graham and everything, man, a lot of people hated his dog.
They hated that black motherfucker with a passion.
They hated it.
They hated that black beady eyed dog. They hated that black motherfucker with a passion.
Hey, shoot.
I don't
But
know
one
if it was
thing
just because
about that dog,
it was too many
one thing
brothers
about
around. I
that
don't know
dog,
what it was.
one thing about that dog, uh, people that seen he'll be in a 4-foot cage. He don't jump out. He produces dogs that do the same thing he do. I can put them in a 4-foot cage. They don't bite through the fence. They don't tear their teeth up. I mean, Thompson to tell you, I had 4-foot cages. I ain't even had nothing between them. I'm able to keep all my. And Thompson was so amazed. He said, "How in the world you keep all these dogs in a 4-foot cage and they not acting up?" But that's what Manny was throwing. And then not only that, Manny would throw himself. He would be
Yeah.
so. I mean, Anthony had that dog where that dog would, and Thompson knows it. Thompson says it to me all the time. Manny will die for Graham because that dog loved himself some Manny. Now at the end, towards the end of his life, I tried to get that dog a shot, and that dog see me coming with that needle, he'll show me all his teeth. And guess what? I knew I was in trouble. I called Ant and I said, "Man, you gonna come help me get the dog a shot?" Ant said, "I'll be over there." But Anthony used to be over here in a hot second. But this time Anthony didn't never come. I said, "Man, you supposed to been over here to help me get a dog a shot." He said, "The dog ain't gonna do nothing." And then when I pulled the shot back out, Anderson was right there. Hey, I believe he nipped Ant because that dog said, "You or Ant ain't gonna give me no more shots. That's over with." So I had to go get that dog some oil medication.
Yeah. And shit,
Yeah, you
how old was he? How old was he when he died? Man, he was what, 12?
He was
12.
he died on December the 23rd of 2022. He was
Yeah,
about to be 12 years old. Yeah, he was about to be 12.
because Gaga passed before he did. I think Gaga passed the same year, man.
Yeah, not too long before. They died pretty close together.
Right, right.
But you know, Gaga, a lot of people don't give Gaga the respect she deserved because Gaga was A-Gram's Manny, a belly mate sister. And when you talk about Lady Gaga, you talk about my foundation dog. That was my foundation dog. Now I got A-Gram Manny later on, when he got older, like I think he was about 7.5, probably when I got him. But you know, Lady Gaga, I got her when she was about 1.5 years, probably 18 months or so. And that was my first boy's dog.
Hey, you know what's so crazy? Like, to actually, a lot of people don't realize that Manny and Gaga produce two different damn types of pups, dogs, y'all.
They do.
And you took the words out of my mouth because Fred could get that, and the stuff that I was getting, especially when H4L and you did that thing with Hustleman and he came on the scene.
Yeah.
Manny was a dog that, depending on the female you used, you could just get so many different variations of what he was. You could get like a zooted devilish
Wow.
version of what
Wow.
he was, or you
Wow.
could get like that demeanor he used to have around Ant, where he was like he could just act like a pet and
Like a
stuff.
puppy.
But
Act like a
yeah,
puppy.
just like he would just act like a puppy around Ant. That was really the relationship that I seen
I
that he
mean, the
had with
dog would
that
be
dog.
smiling in his face, foaming at the mouth, and a man would walk right past him like he don't even see him. I didn't see
And
him
when it
so
was
many times.
And when it was, yeah, man, he was just on another level of having an on and off switch. I
Yo,
don't know what I don't know what happened with Hustle Man and that shit, but that switch just broke off the wall. Because I remember calling Fred talking about like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep this shit, Fred. Like, I mean,
hey,
this
yo,
shit ain't
Fred.
looking too good.
Hey, Fred.
Yeah.
Yo, hey, Tom. Yo, tell him what I was telling you, Thompson. Tell him what I was telling you.
Matter Matter of fact, Brown was with me when I went to go get Hustle Man from Ant. Me and him drove up there to get that dog, and when Brown picked him up, I was talking to Ed, and Brown went to the box, and Brown picked him up. And Brown, we got in the car, and Brown was holding the puppy. He said, "You know this dog crazy, right?"
I was like, yo, son. Yo, I was like, yo, mine. I was like, yo, son. Yo, there's some shit right here now. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Hustle Man been like that since a puppy. You know what I mean? And one thing I like about Manny, like you said, he could produce anything. But that female that you put on the bottom of Manny plays a big part.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. They took and bred Boots to Manny first. If you look at Hustle
The
Man
Hannibal,
Kennel, if
the
you look at the
Hannibal man.
pedigree, you'll see a dog named Boots, Limestone Boots. They bred that to Manny first. They had a whole different line of dogs off of that breeding. Secondary, they took the dogs that came off of McDuff the Boots to get a dog named Sheba. And then we bred that to Manny. That whole litter. It wasn't just Hustle Man that was like that. That whole litter was like that.
Mm.
You know what?
Tell him, Fred. Tell him, Fred. It wasn't a fluke.
I had called Brown and I had called Thompson. I had called both of them and told both of them that, hey man, y'all need to get one of these puppies. And you know, they said, yeah, you know, another Manny puppy. So, you know, that's how it was, because they were breeding Manny to everything but the kitchen sink. They
If
were
I knew
breeding that
now,
dog.
if I knew now what I knew then, man, you just don't know, bro.
Hey, you gotta think. And Brown, you could contest. I debated on getting that dog. I was
Yeah,
like, I think I'm good. I don't know yet. I gotta go. I'm still going through certain dogs on the yard. I really wasn't trying to grab another puppy. I was sitting there thinking, but you know what? I said, just in case something happened to Manny, let me grab a son, because I had females off of him. I didn't have a son off of that dog. That was the first son off of Manny I ever owned, was that dog. And that's the crazy part about that whole situation. You know, you can sit there and debate on certain things, but if you can get something to benefit your yard, you best to just get up and bust a move. And me and Brown, I call Brown like, man, I don't feel like taking this ride by myself, bro. Brown was nice enough to say, man. Brown was like, man, shit, meet me over here. We meet up over there. We take the rest of the ride. I said, word. Drove over there, got that damn dog. And when Brown said that dog was crazy, that dog wasn't acting crazy or nothing. He just picked the puppy up. The puppy wasn't acting crazy in the car. The puppy was just sitting there. Brown knew right off the rip that motherfucker
like,
was crazy.
Son, if you can't handle him, bro, let me get him. Let me get him.
Hey, Brown. When you say, Brown, let me get him. Let me get him.
I said, let me get him, yo.
Check this out, bro.
Yo.
Now you got females, right? And then you got males, right? So it's just like I had Lady Gaga. And Lady Gaga was a very, very mean, hateful dog. She was mean and hateful. Both. Hateful and mean. So Manny didn't act like Lady Gaga. And not nowhere near like Lady Gaga. Because Lady Gaga was mean and hateful. So you get Manny, and like y'all said, it determines what kind of dog you're going to get by what female you breed the Manny. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
Right. That's a fact. So, hey.
That's a fact.
When I say it's crazy, because I had Black Knight, right? And mine is always good. Like you say, you know, it's always good to see the both parents. You know what I mean? So I had Black Knight, which came off of Manny bred to Ciroc. I knew how Manny was. I knew how Ciroc was. But I had Black Knight. And when I say I give Manny, Black Knight was a humble dog. I had to worry about no people, you know, my kids. I had to worry about nothing. You know, Ciroc was a savage. You know what I mean? All the Hicks and Ricks and stuff. You know, I mean, she was a savage. So when I say the combination was good, It was good. It was Manny blood would balance a dog. But
Wow.
yeah, it would balance a
Wow.
dog. Not only that, if you got a dog that's real heavy on that psychotic side, because a lot of people don't even talk about Hannibal. And Hannibal, best believe, was a monster. You know what I mean? If I say it was a monster, I knew it was a monster.
And Hannibal was Manny to boots.
To
And that
boot.
was that was
The
Angela
only
dog.
the only and just to break this down for the people in the chat, the only difference in the pedigree between Hustleman and Hannibal is McDuff. So if I put these two pedigrees in front of you, you would just see one dog that's different in these two pedigrees. And those dogs, it came from an uncontrollable temperament to a somewhat controllable temperament.
Wow.
Between just because Hustle Man wasn't off the edge like Hannibal, but Hustle Man walked that fine line.
There you go.
Everything he did was to the extreme. And, you know, that's what I like in a good bulldog. I like
But
a
you know
dog that
what,
like to
Brown?
work.
It's still that one dog, the power of that one dog. That
And
one dog.
Me and Fred was talking about it from Jump Street because the second litter came out, and like Fred said, that whole litter was on fire. That was the Hustle Man litter. I went there
And
and grabbed
see,
one.
and from a breeder's standpoint, until you do breedings and you know these things, until you walk that fine line like I have, you won't be able to tell a Thompson, a Brown Kennel, that you seen this and you seen that and you know this and you know that until you seen it. And see, the thing
Yeah.
was, I seen more than these guys seen. And then when I met Thompson and I met Brown, I started to fill them in. And once I started filling them in to what I had seen, one thing about Brown and Thompson, both of them listens. And that is a special trait when you talk about that. All dog people ain't
It's a
got it.
trait to listen.
You know
Message.
what?
What they say? What they say? Message.
Right. Yo, I respect that because you
Hey,
know why?
there's some people listen and don't understand.
Yeah, and see, when you got like we talking, you talking about us, but we talking to millions of people about how you can actually just get into it. Play your part. Listen, you know what I mean?
But
Use what
Brown, it ain't just the listening part and playing your part. It sometimes it's about just being respectful. You know what I'm saying? Being a gentleman, because
right.
you got some arrogant, disrespectful young guys out here that walk around and think they know
You don't.
more
Yeah.
than the people that made this stuff. I had
Yeah.
no longer than 2 weeks ago, some guys called me. They got one of my old dogs. The dog about 8.5 years old, and they breeding the dog, and they getting phenomenal dogs. And I said, wow, because I didn't think I was gonna hear about this dog no more, or see the dog no more. So I said, dang, I'm so glad that the guy that called me was very respectful, but he had a KP that was an arrogant, you know, you know
Oh,
what
hush
I'm
your
saying.
mouth. Hush your mouth.
That's
So
your bro. No, Fred don't want to go left. I feel you, Fred.
yeah, I'm trying to be nice and respectful. You know how I am, Thompson. Brown, you know how I am too. So I'm just
Right.
trying to work with the guy, trying to work with him. So the young, respectful guy, you know, we hitting it off. I can tell he'll do good by himself. But as long as he got that other joker with him, he ain't going nowhere. The other
Right.
joker gonna mess him up for real. And that's how it be. That really how it be. When it comes to this dog, it could be that one dog in the pedigree. It could be that one KP that you need to delete out of the pedigree.
Right,
Hey,
right.
and I guess we could close it on here because I know you said you have family. We
Yeah.
coming up on time 19. I'm gonna close it up on this fraternity cook up for the last thing before we get off here. The word fraternity, community. You know, I preference myself on saying brother Fred, Brown, Kendrick. Shout out to Kenny, he in the chat as well. Shout out to all the brothers, JT, Cellmade Kennels, everybody who's in the chat,
Salute.
Self-Made Kennels, Lamarcus
Word.
Lee, yeah, everybody out there in the chat and stuff that was cooking with us tonight. We're gonna end on this fraternity thing. When I look at this fraternity thing, I look at, like I said, Brown and all the brothers I deal with. That is the fraternity that I deal in with. The brothers that I know and shook hands and looked them in the eyes. We've established friendships. You know, those that surrounding yourself with around positive people and stuff. We always try to emphasize this on these cook-ups and stuff, especially for the young brothers tapping in and stuff, man. Find yourself some good people to be around. Sometimes it may be a situation where you don't need to be around no people at all. You need to just have that time with your dogs and your craft and hone in on that time. And then when you hone in on that time at first, then you can go ahead and interact with other people and, but watch who you keep around, kennel partners, disrespectful people and stuff, man. All of this stuff is the mixture for why we have issues in our community in the first place, man. Just as simply as Fred alluded to, one brother can have common sense, and then he got a homeboy who's an ignorant mug, and you can see the car about to crash. You can see it about to crash before it happened, and that's how we
Yes, sir.
stand back and look. We stand back and look at a lot of situations with y'all, man. Sometimes you got to stand on your own too and put that work in and create a fraternity around yourself that replicates the morals and principles that you stand on as a man or a woman in this game. And once you stand on your morals and principles, Fred say, don't get off your pivot. That you stand on that, it'll eventually become a world around you, and you'll find yourself around solid people who are like-minded individuals such as yourself. So, shout out to the fraternity of brothers and the new linking up. Brown, you got anything to cook on? Just,
As far as fraternity,
fraternities and why we try to say certain things the way we say it. Because, every fraternity, there's fraternities inside fraternities, and everybody,
right.
every
That's what I was
certain people,
gonna get at.
yeah, Brown, go ahead and cook up. I ain't even going to cut you off, bro.
Yeah, see, one thing about it, it's like this. It's a community because we all deal with a breed of dogs. You know what I mean? We all deal with a breed of dogs. But in this community, just like with any other communities, you got different races. You know what I mean? Just like fraternity, you got different frats. So you got to be careful with who you get involved with, because like y'all talked about earlier, sometimes you could be affiliated by association. Be careful who, be careful who, some people will take something that you say and push it a whole different way. You know what I mean? Sometimes,
True.
sometimes you gotta think, like, if you're a fraternity and if you my brother, then you got sometimes, you might be in a situation where you might think it's a plus, but your brother looking at it as it might be a negative because you're a frat, you're a fraternity. You know what I mean? And you gotta have discussions, sometimes like Thompson alluded to. Sometimes you might just need to be by yourself. Sometimes, you might just need to take care of what you need to take care of. You know, take your own take your own lane because this is a this a big highway out here. It's a big highway, you know, and like I said, this is a community. Everybody is affiliated by dogs, by American Pit Bull Terriers. So when they put these laws out here for the teen, all of that, it's not just going to go for them. It's going for you too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's big like that.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, I appreciate uh, the way both of y'all came out with that. The way y'all put the fraternity thing together, because at the beginning, Thompson had a whole different understanding or outlook of what he was on to say, and I love the way he presented himself just then, because I believe when I first started uh, in these dogs, it was a lot of guys that I was around, and you hear guys that would talk these dogs way over my head, way over my pay grade. You know what I mean? And you had some of the guys that were moving in circles that I still to this day can't move in and won't. That's not what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So then you got some guys that are in these fraternities or whatever you want to call them, that they put that peer pressure on the young guys, and try to push them to do things that they don't normally do, or be around things they don't normally be around. But a lot of that uh, comes in to being a man and standing on what you believe in. Uh, Thompson and Brown can speak uh, about me and how I do things as far as an older cat being around younger fellas as they self. I always, if they didn't understand something, or they needed time to grow or to learn or to bump their head or to find out the hard way, I gave them room to find that out. You know what I mean? And then if they had trouble, they would come back and ask me questions later on. But as far as being in their face and giving them, uh, you know, uh, the blues on what you're doing and why you're doing it, and uh, this the way you should do this and you should do that. I just wasn't that guy. You know, Brown did breedings that he liked it, and Thompson did stuff that he liked, and I did things that I liked. And all of us had that mutual respect for that. And you got some guys, like Thompson said. Once I say you're a dog, that's your dog. You go home and do whatever you're gonna do with it. You know, but don't try to include me in your mess that you got going on. But we try to put the dogs in the best situation, put them in the best homes that they can be in, because a lot of times these dogs that we have right now, Brown and Thompson and me, uh, are dogs that we want to see in the future. We want to see those dogs in the history. So we try to deal with people that we know are good people, and that's going to take care of their animals. That got a place to take care of their dogs. Got a place where they're going to try to do right by the dog. Uh, we try to keep up with the people sometimes that we deal with. Some guys, you know, aren't that type of guy that you're going to see them. They sometimes they get dogs, and hey, that's the last time you'll see them. But everybody's not like that. Some people are, some people not. So, it's all according to who you're dealing with. And I believe sometimes as a community of people that got these dogs, we got to think about how we can affect the breed in a positive way. If we can
Mhm.
do something in a positive way, a lot of times I don't want to even be a part of it. if it ain't gonna be a positive outcome in it. So I think that'll be a good way to end this cook up.
Hey man, I couldn't even say wiser words, man. I mean, that's the perfect end to this, man. A lot of work needs to be done. Everybody got to do their due diligence, and everybody stay in your lane. But this was a epic Saturday night cook up, man. I appreciate you, Fred. I know you had family in town, and you blessed us with chilling with me for 2.5 hours. Brother Brown, same to you, brother, for making time. Everybody's busy. We all got stuff to do. It never ends out here, you know. It's the real world we living in. So I
Well,
appreciate y'all brothers making time to bless
yeah.
the chat, bless everybody.
Well, I
Shout out to
appreciate
Gas and Go Kennels. That's another
Gas and
brother in the
Gold.
fraternity.
Gas and Gold.
I mean,
What up? What up?
shout me, man. Shout out to the homie Uncle Willie Kennels.
Uncle
And
Willie.
anybody I may have, Jason Sloan.
Yeah, salute to you
What's up,
So
guys, man.
Sloan?
Salute to you guys, man. We appreciate y'all for stopping by and
Hanging
you
out with
know,
us for a little while.
right,
We
man.
we appreciate it. And I know we hadn't been on here in a few weeks, but like I told Thompson, it's summertime. It's a lot going on. These kids out for the summer. All three of us have big families and stuff. So if we're not able to do as much as we were doing,
Right.
please forgive us. Forgive us for that. But we're going to show enough try to keep this thing going. So I'm gonna touch base with Thompson when I can, and touch bases with Brown, and we're gonna try to bring it when we can bring it, but we're gonna try to bring it with that same intensity each time, because like I told Brown and Thompson, that we got to keep this thing to a high level, man. We just can't be falling off.
Right,
yes,
man.
sir.
You
Yes,
know.
sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna keep scratching into it. You know how we do. Like I said, appreciate everybody, man. Everybody know how to reach Brown. Hit him up on YouTube. Hit him up on Facebook. Brown, Fred's on Facebook. Fred Davis. I mean, everybody, you know.
Hit me up on the Instagram, yo. Brown Kennels on Instagram. Um I'm about to try to step my foot back on the YouTube. Hopefully the streets are a little bit calmer. You know
Hey,
what I
hey,
mean?
hey, hey, Brown. Just
Yo,
hey, just take it easy. Take it easy.
for real, man. For real. But I appreciate you
uh,
too, Thompson. Fred.
hey,
I appreciate you too, bro. I appreciate the chat, man. I appreciate everybody coming in, visiting, and yeah, let's make this thing big.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all have a blessed one, man. Shit, I'll holla.
All right, my boy.